Seasoner
and Co.
I feel like we could talk all day about breast sickness. Let's not go there.
All right, sounds good. Let us talk instead about... Wait, we haven't even done the intro. So
No.
let's do that.
Okay.
Welcome to
Second-hand Haunting,
where we read ghost stories out of a second-hand book I got from second-hand shop and try and make sense of them.
Fun of them.
Sense of them.
Fun of them.
Sense of them.
Fun. Ha 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 ha. Wait, what? Oh no, that was still fun. Yeah, okay. Got confused there for a second. Confused myself.
It's almost like we don't really have any specific demarcation between those two things anymore, hey, Ollie?
No. You know, I think one of the things that I quite like about our podcasts, Callum, is the free-flowing nature of the podcast, you know? I was looking at a podcast the other day and I was seeing that, you know, even a bit of it was kind of scripted out. I don't think we've ever done that. I don't think there's a script for our podcast anywhere ever.
The only script we have is in the book. The rest is...
That's true.
Our own brand of madness that we put out into the world.
Ad lib, ad hoc.
This is all so ad hoc that I don't even have a story picked for today, so I'm going to need a little bit of help on this one, Ollie.
Looking forward to it, as always.
I got two potential books here. I won't read out the full titles because they're both very long, but do you feel like doing old ghost story or really specific local ghost story?
Well, golly gosh. You know, I usually go with the local because I do love a bit of that Adelaide action, as it were. But it could be a...
By local, it's not local to us. It's local to someone else.
Right, okay. What does that mean?
Alright, sounds like we are officially picking this book. It is Ghost Stories of Chester County and the Brandywine Valley. Killing true ghost stories and legends from Chester and Delaware counties in the historic heart of southeastern Pennsylvania by Charles J. Adams III.
Is this the local one?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
So it's not even Pennsylvania ghost stories. It's southeastern Pennsylvania ghost stories.
Whereabouts is that? What
Pennsylvania's in America.
Yeah, I thought so, but, you know, there's a lot of different places that can be other places as well, right? Like, isn't there's like...
I know that you were thinking of Transylvania.
No, I wasn't thinking of Transylvania. No, I wasn't thinking of Transylvania and Vlad the Impaler.
Oh, you're thinking Castlevania.
I was trying to remember, there are suburbs or towns in America that have like the same names of other places in the world, right? Is there like a... You know,
yeah, that's fair.
Like, is there like a Manchester in America? Like, or something along those
probably.
lines? Probably. This is what I'm saying. This is all I'm saying, right? So I thought if there was a Pennsylvania in America, there could be like a Pennsylvania south of Adelaide. That I just
what? I'll tell you for a fact that Pennsylvania was not named after anywhere else in the world. It was named after the guy who bought every bit of land in the area as soon as it was settled, and his surname was Penn. He literally named the place after himself.
Well, that is a fun fact. It's a very fun fact. Pennsylvania was named like Pennsylvania. I like that.
Yep. So, you know, he didn't have any delusions of grandeur at all, and I'm sure that the native population had a great time.
You know, lately I've been seeing, and I don't know why, I'm not sure if this is a sign of recession amongst the incredibly wealthy, maybe not ultra wealthy, I don't know. But there's been a couple of islands that have gone up for sale. So some poor corporations or individuals can't afford their islands anymore. So sad.
Oh, boo-hoo.
And some of them haven't actually
So if you're an enterprising Bond villain, hey, this is a good opportunity.
Right now, jump into the market. And, you know, surprisingly not that expensive. You know, you could buy an island for, say, like $5 million. Now, like, I don't have $5 million, obviously. But, I mean, for an entire island, that does sound reasonable. Yeah, it did make me wonder whether or not...
it depends how big the island is.
Yeah, well, you know, big enough for a resort, I think. It was like Resort Islands. It did make me wonder if you could, you know, buy it and then rename it, you know, like Oliverville.
Oliverville. Not Oliver Isle?
Oliver, well, that sounds better. I know it's your last name and not your first name, but Patrick Isle sounds nice.
I'd prefer Peninsula.
Oh, Patrick Peninsula?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that sounds too close to a name.
The PP?
No! Okay, let's get into this story. Get out of here, you. Look, there's the most horrifying sentence we're going to have on this podcast, I'm sure.
Surely not.
But shall we
Anyway.
see if Charles J. Adams III has anything more horrific than that in store for us?
Let's. I'm strapped in and ready to go.
In the story of The Singing Spirit of Hurricane Hill. Should you be enjoying a fine filet à poivre, trout en pâche, or lobster fra diavola at the crier in the country restaurant and hear the faint echo of someone softly singing, do not be alarmed. It's probably Lydia. Huh. Can you recall where Beetlejuice was set?
No, but I can look it up.
Yeah, go on then. My keyboard is behind my book, so that's going to be a little difficult.
Connecticut. That makes
Connecticut,
sense.
okay. Alright, fair enough. Not Pennsylvania.
Not
So
Pennsylvania.
this is probably not the ghost of Lydia Dietz. Maybe I've
Lydia,
just been
Lydia,
watching...
Lydia. Isn't that the same for God? What was it? The girl in the mirror, Bloody Mary.
Mary?
Isn't like yeah? Is that 3 times? Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary.
I believe so, yeah. But specifically, you need to have all the lights off, I think, and have it lit by a candle.
Oh, okay. Later tonight.
Yeah. And also that plays on a thing where like the human brain doesn't quite know how to deal with candlelight flickering in mirrored surfaces, so it can often, think it sees
Look like
things.
Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
Bloody
So you-
Mary, I call thee to seek out and destroy my enemies.
I don't know what Bloody Mary's meant to do, but I don't think it's seek out and destroy your enemies.
No, it was still like a bit aspirational of me. That's true.
If anyone is a cheer squad for a ghost, it's Ollie.
That's true.
Perhaps it is the Ville Alphonse you are having when you see a chandelier begin to swing back and forth. It's probably Lydia. Alternatively, maybe you're enjoying a rack of lamb when a greyish blur passes silently in front of you. Lydia. Oh no, they've said it 3 times.
Pops out. Hello.
No, she's singing, you remember?
She's what?
She's singing.
Ah. Hello.
Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana.
They like a man me when I go home.
Ah, yes. Much human drama has played out within the walls of the disarmingly charming restaurant along Route 1 in Glen Mills, Delaware County. Many people have lived there over more than 2.5 centuries, and perhaps 1 or 2 of them have never left.
Ooh.
One of them is, can you guess, Ollie?
Is it Lydia?
Oh my god, yes it is. How did you know? The first home on the second highest point in Delaware County, known locally as Hurricane Hill, was built in 1740 by Thomas Pennell. The oldest portion of the crier in the country, the rear bar and kitchen, were part of that home. Okay, are you tracking that okay?
Part of that home.
Yeah. So that the kitchen used to be part of a home before a restaurant was built around the rest of it.
Mhm.
It was in 1861 when Thomas P. Powell built the core of the present Victorian structure. There, he and his wife, Lydia Powell, resided in their opulent country mansion along the busy Baltimore Pike.
I do think that it's worthwhile asking because I feel like another dimension to this podcast would be, is Ollie up to date with the story? You know, just every 10 minutes we do a little pop quiz.
As tempting as that is, I'll only reserve that for the particularly Baroque sentences that show up with people who clearly have not had an editor look over their manuscript before it goes to printing.
Like the tweak of podcasting.
I'm sorry?
Sorry, it's just like a South Park reference.
Oh.
Tweak was like the guy that found it hard to focus, and he was like always like really highly caffeinated. And...
Yes, that's right. Have you got checked for ADHD yet?
No, not yet. Still pretty certain, but no, not officially yet.
Henry E. Saulnier purchased the property from Lydia Powell following her husband's death. And it was Saulnier... Yeah.
Sorry.
It sounds like you're casting aspersions upon how Lydia Powell's husband might have died.
I'm starting to wonder if there's more like female serial killers that we're led to believe. I feel like they get under-reported or valued in the community.
Valued is a strange word to use there, but I think I know what you mean. You monster.
I meant like statistically.
Oh, a statistical value. Okay, fine. Good point. Well made. Redacted.
Fine. No, that's fine. I didn't exactly put that well. Hopefully not a Freudian slip.
So it was Saulnier who expanded and improved the mansion during his family's tenure there from 1873 to 1916. Okay, this guy has obviously done a lot of research in the local history of his local towns, and he's going to put it in the book, whether it's relevant or not. I can't blame him for showing his work, at least, right?
No, for sure, for sure.
After several turnovers in ownership, the Powell Mansion was bought by the Iannucci family and converted into an elegant restaurant, the Crier in the Country. Now, it's probably not, but I'm going to assume that this is connected to Armando Iannucci, the producer of some of my favourite TV shows. Are you familiar with The Thick of It or Veep by any chance?
I am. Maybe not so much in the thick of it, but Veep I've watched a bit of. Although, to be fair, I actually do find that after watching a couple of episodes, I find like an oversaturation of, I don't know, conflict that I find it difficult to, marathon through. Like sometimes I need a bit of diversity. Because I feel like some of those shows, it's just like conflict.
I feel you. I could always watch an episode of Veep unless I have just watched an episode of Veep.
That's pretty much the way I see it.
So yeah, feel free to imagine any of the characters that show up in this as like an Armando Iannucci type character, and it may or may not improve the story. We'll see. In a reference to the name of the new restaurant, Crier in the Country, the name...
Is that Friar or Crier? Crier?
Crier, as in someone who is crying, but I think it probably means town crier, but it is about to explain.
Right, because I thought that was town prior, not town crier. Someone in the town that just, likes to talk about their emotions.
Yeah.
The other day...
He thought about calling the restaurant the Oversharer in the Country, but it was too long. I'm going to read this sentence verbatim, and it's just going to be another sign that this was never edited by anyone. The name was inspired by owner Jerry Iannucci's longtime Uppy Derby restaurant, the Town Crier. So I think it means that this guy, Jerry Iannucci, already has a restaurant called the Town Crier, and now he's got like a satellite branch called, it's Crier in the Country, as opposed to the town one. I bet he thought he was being smart.
Crier in the Country, Crier in the Park, Crier in the City, the whole Crier route.
If there's one in an old church, it's Crier in the Priory.
There you go. I feel like I want to dig into that title, actually.
It's one attached to a pig pen, it's Crier in the Stire. There's one up the hill, it's Crier that is higher. Alright, I'm done now. In late 1995, brothers Joseph and Robert Jackson took ownership and have maintained the high level of quality of both cuisine and atmosphere. And with that atmosphere came a ghost or two. On their menu, the Jacksons say, quote, "If you close your eyes, you can almost hear the clopping of horse-drawn carriages passing, the clinking of glasses, and the laughter of those who have enjoyed the grandeur of this home before us." End quote. I'm not sure how much that particular menu item cost, but it must be expensive.
Yeah, absolutely.
All very well, but if you close your eyes, you just might miss catching a fleeting glimpse of Lydia, or any of the other spirits that swirl around inside the crier.
Ooh, so there's many a spirit on the loose.
Yeah, there's Lydia and a bunch of footballers.
There's something strange in your neighborhood.
Who you gonna call? Town Crier! Don't make me drop that into the episode again.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Well, I did actually remind me of that Ghostbuster vibe. It was like circles of ghosts around and the Crier restaurant.
Yeah, there's the main boss Lydia and a bunch of mooks. Or a bunch of spooks?
Yeah, I don't know, like Lydia she gave me a librarian ghost vibe. Is that the first one? God,
Yeah.
I already want to watch it again.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just a sucker for old movies. I watched Jurassic Park again for the nth time. It's like I've probably watched that movie countless times.
Yeah.
Not all the sequels, just the
No. Just the one good Jurassic Park movie. Tales of hauntings up on Hurricane Hill go back at least to the 1960s, when odd things started happening and odd sights started showing up during the building's existence as the Fox Crest Inn.
the salt and pepper shaker were there, and now they're over there.
Wait a minute, who swapped these over? I tried to put salt on my food and it's pepper.
Ghost in the background.
Yeah, Pepper's ghost. That's one for the ghost historians listening. They're gonna love that.
That's
shit.
what you get. Yeah, you get a little bit of superfood instead of salt.
Is pepper superfood? What?
I've heard that, yeah. Pepper is like a superfood. Look it up.
Huh.
Salt, not so much.
No, funny that.
I always thought that's maybe why they're together, like balance each other out.
Along with the mysterious third condiment, mustard.
Mustard, sure.
Yeah.
Honest to God, I feel like that would be a big conversation. Like if salt and pepper are the main condiments, like what's the third most popular condiment, but like in ground form,
I don't know
So
if this is some bullshit myth that I've heard or not, but I have heard that there used to be, like, they found old sets of salt and pepper and a mysterious third canister
Really?
from like hundreds of years ago, but nobody recorded what was meant to go in the third one because it was, I guess, obvious to them at the time what should go in it.
Gosh.
And so there is an actual mystery of like, wait, what did they all think the third most important condiment was? That it had to be on the table.
Oh, I tell you, if we had like a site where we could put a poll on, I would do a poll for that.
Yeah. The leading theory is that it was probably ground mustard, but I like to think that maybe chili, if they had chili at that point.
Chili's a good one. Good one.
Right? Because these days, like, in a lot of restaurants, you'll see salt, pepper, and chili oil. If they hadn't figured out to put chili in oil yet, I can see them having put it in a shaker.
In all fairness, I think that is actually what's in my household, is like, salt, pepper, and chili. Like, that's the extra things that I put on stuff, so I feel like that's a good...
Yeah, I know. I've tasted your cooking.
I can de-spice it next time. Just so you know.
And just so the listener knows, Ollie's running nose is not from a cold, it's from he's eating a plate of nachos as we speak.
That's funny. Yes. Well, sickness reminds you of how great it is to be healthy. I feel like ultimately one of the great things about sick is your great appreciation for health.
What a thoughtful, optimistic attitude. I have nothing funny to say about that. Just well done.
Thank you. True story. I do feel like that sometimes. Not all the times.
No. Yeah.
Sometimes
when
I'm
you're
like, fuck
well.
this, fuck that, fuck everything.
I just want to feel human again. Anyway, stories of its haunting spread throughout the area. But the happenings and sights intensified when Jerry Iannucci purchased the place. In fact, it was in the very first week of his opening of the crier in December 1983, when Incident 1 of a long list of incidents unfolded.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, I'm only putting stank on incident 1 because he's put capitals on them. I don't know if they're actually going to be itemized or not.
You know, the other day, I actually got like a comment on like a work item. Like at the end of the sentence, it had like thank you with an exclamation mark at the end.
Okay.
And in my mind, it was just like shouting at me. Like whenever I see like an exclamation mark,
Thank you.
I say like thank you, like And it reminds me of I was like working with someone where like English was their second language, and they would do that often in the past. Like when they were giving feedback or something, they'd be like constantly putting exclamation marks on it. I actually did pull them aside one day, and I was just like, just so you know, like when I see that, it is like shouting to me. Like, you know what? If you want to keep doing it, that's cool. But just so you know, this is how I read it in my mind.
I think that's fair to say to someone, right? But also...
capitals, though, that would be worse. That would be way worse.
There's other ways of denoting shouting in text.
Maybe it's more like exclamation marks, like raising your voice, you know, whereas like capitals would definitely be like barking and shouting, like, you know, like...
Capitals are preceded by the slamming of a door open.
Right, exactly. That's what I mean.
I don't get so much bothered by one exclamation point. Like, that can just be enthusiasm or emphasis to me. But as soon as there's 2, I know I'm in trouble. 2. Yeah.
God, you know what? Honestly, I don't even like a full stop. You know, if it's like 1 or like 2 words and they put a full stop at the end of it, like I find that threatening.
Yeah, I feel you.
I used to have a friend where English was their second language, and they used to always say the phrase, "It rings the bell."
Oh, I like that. I like the idea that there's like a communal bell.
Yeah. Oh, that rings the bell.
Yeah.
I just never had the heart to correct them.
No, I wouldn't. I'd start using it. In fact, I might.
You're right. That does ring the bell.
All right. Shall we hear a little more about Incident 1?
Oh, with bated breath.
It took place, as it turned out, in an upstairs room they have named in honour of Lydia Powell. It is the most, but not only, haunted room in the restaurant. A waitress was passing through the Lydia room when she was stopped in her tracks by an icy chill. In the otherwise comfortable room, a stiff blast of cold air seemed to wrap around her. It was so cold, she said, that she could see her breath. Okay, that's slightly more.
That's pretty cold.
That's slightly more than the normal. Oh, the room went cold, but not much more than the normal.
I mean, it is England, right? Like,
it's the US.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Sorry. I don't know why I forgot.
Sorry.
We do so many ghost stories in the UK.
It is a cold place in the US. I'll give you that. It's fairly far north.
But not like cold all year round like England.
No. There are stories in this book in which snow factors in, and I will be reading one at some point, possibly over Christmas.
Okay. So it could potentially...
It could just be cold.
Be just cold.
Yeah. As she stood agape, the blast of wind, which by her reckoning could not have come from any logical source, seemed to blow its way through the door, down the hall, and to a back door. It was so powerful, the waitress recalled, that it nearly pushed the door off its hinges.
That's a powerful wind.
Yeah, that is a lot of wind. Not an impossible amount of normal wind, but a lot of wind.
Lydia's having an off day, you know, or one of the many other ghosts that inhabit.
Someone could have been visiting Lydia's room.
It is a shame that there isn't like some more like ghost calling cards in places where they have multiple haunts like that.
Oh,
you know, like the wind glows, it gets a bit cold, and then like an L appears on the window.
Okay. But if you see cutlery shaking, then that's Gregory. And if a chandelier falls down and squishes someone, that's homicide.
Oh, Darren can be a bit of a tool. You ever think that anyone's like done the Scooby-Doo thing, like pretended that it was a ghost that killed someone?
I feel like we don't do many stories where a ghost ends up killing someone.
No, I don't want to put this idea into the zeitgeist necessarily, but that would be a funny thing for like a serial killer, like the Scooby-Doo serial killer, and they only kill people with incidents that look like they're actually from ghosts.
Oh yeah, all those normal ways that ghosts kill people.
Expect the book series later. The Scooby-Doo murderer. The Scooby-Doo serial killer.
I think you're just describing H.H. Holmes.
Oh, there was one.
There's a serial killer who built like a big hotel with like trapdoors and peepholes and stuff. That is basically Scooby-Doo kind of stuff, but he used it to actually kill people who stayed there.
Yeah, serial killing, it's all fun and games until you realise what it is actually about.
Yeah, yeah, until there's body count. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh, right, that's right. It's not... Anyway.
Another employee, a janitor, has reported the sound of singing coming from the Lydia room. Not once, but several times, he was distracted by the melodies, walked toward the Lydia room to check on who might be inside, and was accosted by what he could describe only as a, quote, grey flash that drifted swiftly in front of him.
I haven't brought this up for a long time. I feel like I haven't done. I feel like I've been very reserved in that respect. But it does feel a lot like the show Ghosts.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, thank you. Like, you know, it's like we are encountering potentially a bunch of different ghosts with like different powers that are doing different things. Singing ghost, wind ghost.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say. Maybe it is like some all-powerful ghost. Like someone would have to obviously go and fall down some stairs and hit their head before we could really know. You know?
Are you proposing a holiday with one return ticket?
Because we both go over and only one comes back?
You got it.
Okay. For the record, I meant hit them their head and then have like a like they do in the show
survive.
Ghost, where you can see the ghost survive. Yes, but
Sure.
survive.
Yeah, that makes way more sense.
If you convince someone to actually like, you know, go and then immortally injure themselves and then try and like write you letters back from the ghostly realm. I mean, that could be an interesting experiment, but I don't know who's going to go for it.
Harry Houdini? Oh, wait, he's already dead.
Maybe I can conjure him later when I'm like approaching Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. Harry Houdini, Harry Houdini, Harry Houdini.
That just worked with anyone. Just look in the mirror. Abraham Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln.
Is there a top hat coming through the wall?
Yeah. Beetlejuice. Wait, no, hang on. Wait, no.
Just say it!
I find that the use of the word distracted by the janitor is rather telling there. Was he meant to be doing something else when he was found in the Lydia room? And he's like, oh, I was distracted by the melodies. Yeah, that's right.
I feel like he was doing something more suspicious and he was like, oh, I was only in here because...
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get much more about this janitor, but I've got my eye on him.
As you should.
There is a consensus at the crier that Lydia Powell's spirit remains there. Quote, and if we did something that didn't please her, she'd let us know. End quote. I hope we're going to get some examples of that.
Yeah, well, you want some back and forth.
Yeah, not just some empty words from a local restaurateur trying to drum up business. No, sir. Jerry Iannucci himself has had some experiences that have put him on guard. The most incredible was when he came into the Powell room, a main dining room, only to see a massive chandelier on the ceiling swaying rhythmically. The longer he watched, the more violent...
Darren.
The longer he watched, the more violent the swaying. It got to the point that he had to step in and stop the movement. It took all he had to bring the swinging chandelier to a halt.
I mean, that is kind of funny, because, like, I feel like all it would take for me to bring a chandelier to a halt is to put my hand on it.
How big is this chandelier?
I mean, maybe this is, like, hubris and overconfident of me, but I don't care how big it is. I'm pretty sure I could still...
Yeah, if it can fit in a house, it's not going to be that bad. But right? I think that's what they're saying, that the ghost was still acting upon it. Ooh.
Oh. Darren.
It'd be very funny if we eventually find out that the janitor's name is Darren this whole time.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
A waitress told Jerry that she noticed the chandelier start to sway just after a patron had asked her if there were any ghosts in the restaurant. No, but we have a malfunctioning chandelier.
Early.
The staff and several customers have reported numerous incidents. Jerry's own son and daughter-in-law, who once resided in the mansion for a short time, would hear the sound of laughter, clinking glasses, and general gaiety in the main part of the restaurant as they sat in their third-floor loft residence.
You know, if I had the seed fund for it, I would totally start like the secondhand haunting bar in Adelaide, you know?
Yeah?
Like,
What are you thinking here?
yeah.
Set up like hidden speakers and
you'd
stuff?
have, and like, you know, a moving chandelier.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
A little wind machine that goes, like, blows a breeze through the bar or restaurant, you know, or one of the
Yeah.
two.
I think it would need to be restaurant. You need to have like different areas.
Yeah, no, I like where you're going with that. The only challenges that I find is that I think themed restaurants struggle a bit more than
Wait a
themed
minute.
bars. In my
We used to have one. It
experience.
was called the Night Train, and it's been out of business for nigh on 25 years.
This is kind of my point. Whereas like the Harry Potter theme bar, that's been going strong for quite some time.
Yeah,
and
because
when
it
I
can
was
fit two
in San
people in
Francisco,
it. Like the rent must be tiny.
yeah, that was good. I like it though. It's good. But anyway, I think there's more likelihood of a bar surviving over a restaurant when it's themed.
Yeah.
Like, not generally. I think when you theme it, I think it's harder to like attract everyone to it.
Well, we
But,
can't
yeah, I'm not
advertise
sure.
it as haunted. It just has to sort of get out there that it is haunted, right?
Oh no, I was gonna like call it secondhand haunting.
Okay.
You know? Fill the bookshelves with like secondhand haunting books, like the whole
Okay,
kit and caboodle.
now I'm coming round. You've got your RSA, right?
You know what? I got it a long time ago, but I don't think it's expired. They last 20, 30 years, right?
Yeah, sure, yeah, you betcha. Now, I think we're moving pretty quickly past the thing that was just mentioned, i.e. Jerry's son and daughter-in-law heard the sounds of a restaurant happening when they were in their apartment above a restaurant. Like, it doesn't say that they heard it at like 4 a.m., just that they heard a restaurant while they were very close to a restaurant.
Sorry, maybe I skipped a beat here, which is so often the case. So I thought we were seeing like the chandelier moving around in the restaurant.
Yeah, we've moved on from that already. That happened just once, but then
Okay.
also while two other people were staying upstairs, they heard the sounds
Oh,
of a
okay.
restaurant, which is you would expect
right.
because they were just
Like
above a
when they were-
restaurant.
Yeah. It does track. I mean, they must have meant after it was closed, you know, after hours.
I
or
can
something.
only assume so. Again, Charles J. Adams III, you need an
mean-
editor, my man.
I mean, at any given time, though, you could definitely have the sounds of a restaurant. Like, you don't know if they'll have like a late function or someone's going to go in and put in some prep time or something. Like, it's hard to say. Like, we don't know
Right?
what they heard.
Yeah.
You know. On the other hand, it could be something like, you know, it was 2 o'clock in the morning. They're trying to sleep and they're hearing the bustling sounds of a restaurant that is operating at full capacity, and then they walk outside and downstairs and there's no one there. So that's the other option.
Possible.
In that case, confirmed ghost.
I mean, the
Or
other
ghost.
option is that this was, in fact, during like dinner
Transdimensional
service.
experience.
You what?
Transdimensional experience.
Oh, God. Transdimensional dining.
The next big craze.
The restaurant at the end of this goddamn story.
That was good. That was good. I like that. I mean, if you know Douglas Adams, it works.
Yeah. Maybe they heard these sounds at like dinner service time, and it's just a damning indictment on how popular the restaurant normally is. Like, oh my god, there's actually someone eating here? We've never heard that before.
That's funny. They finally do something right.
Yeah, accidentally. Only ever accidentally. As the Iannucci's introduction to the energies at the old mansion came shortly after their occupation of it, so did the Jacksons'. The Iannucci's were retiring, and Robert and Joseph Jackson were about to take possession of the restaurant in November 1995. 2 days before the day of the settlement, a storm propelled by winds of up to 75 miles per hour swept across Hurricane Hill and felled 2 ancient trees that stood in front of the mansion. I think we've just found the source of the cold blast from earlier, haven't we?
Yeah.
Like, it's called Hurricane Hill. There's winds. Like, cold winds should not be unexpected.
It did feel like the likely suspect, the actual wind.
Yeah.
The actual chill.
Yeah.
We hear these kind of things in the ghost stories all the time, but there are times in which I wished that I saw, like, scratching or something a bit more human.
Yeah. Well, look, we may have some. It's been a while since I've read this one, but I put a star next to it for a reason. And I don't think it's anything that's happened yet.
Like, sometimes I'll be walking around my house and I get a chill and I don't really think too much about it. Although maybe I should. Maybe it is the ghost. My house is full of ghosts!
No, I think it's the open window.
And poor architectural design.
Yeah. So, about these 2 ancient trees that fell down. They were, quote, sentinel trees, planted by the Powells in a neat ring around their house. I don't know if I looked up what a sentinel tree is. I don't think that's a kind of tree.
That's cool.
I'm going to assume that what they're trying to do is essentially plant a windbreak around the house, right? Mm-hmm. Like the tree was standing sentinel to block the wind.
Like a sentinel would stand guard, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Stand guard and break the wind. Yeah, not break wind, but break.
Oh, I can't wait to read you
smelly trees.
The tale of the farting trees. They had grown to become tall and strong, but they were no matches for the howling gales of November 1995. 2 of the tallest fell like dominoes, which I assume means one knocked the other one over.
Like a domino, one might say.
Yeah. Was it a gust or a ghost? Of course, Lydia Powell could not control the weather. She could not have ordered up the maelstrom that mangled the sentinel trees.
Not with that attitude.
I'm glad the author is acknowledging that a ghost is not going to cool the weather down like a god.
I've always found that fascinating, actually. Like, it's a ghost. It could create, like, a burst of wind through a house and maybe, knock the chandelier, but surely not a maelstrom of wind outside.
No.
That's the line.
But both the buyers and sellers of the property that day marvelled at the coincidence. What? A coincidence of what? A big gust of wind during winter knocking some trees down a couple of days before the restaurant changed hands? I'm not seeing much of a coincidence here, guys.
Was it scheduled to change hands?
Yeah. So it was 2 days before the settlement day. Like, settlement of the loan purchase. I know how mortgages work. Did it what?
I'm glad one of us does. I've had a mortgage before and it's still a mystery.
Jerry Iannucci noted that Lydia was forced to sell her beloved state at auction. It was a painful, gut-wrenching decision for her. Quote, "We don't think she wanted to leave," he said. I mean, nobody's making her. Oh, right, she didn't want to leave the house when she originally left it, not when she was a ghost. Okay, I understand.
Well, both? Either?
Yeah.
So she didn't want to leave it when she was alive, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Yep, the selling of the property caused some trauma for her, and therefore, later on, when another sale of the property occurred, 2 days earlier than that, she knocked some trees over. 2 days, 2 trees, coincidence?
Wait, I thought they said she couldn't be responsible for that.
I mean, the author's saying that they couldn't be. I'm saying that they couldn't be, but the buyers and the sellers are.
And guess who else is? This guy.
No.
I'm on Lydia knocking down the street side. I think Lydia did it. Classic ghost maneuver, She's like, I really don't want to see this. I don't like change. Who likes change?
You're putting
Lydia's
forward
fingerprints all over it.
You're putting forward too good of an argument. I don't like this. At the time of the tree toppling, Sissy Iannucci, Jerry's wife and partner, lamented that maybe Lydia didn't want them to leave. Oh, Ollie, you're ahead of the curve here, man.
Boom.
The Jackson brothers and their staff have had their own dealings with Lydia.
Oh, the Jackson 5 are a part of this?
No, oh no. Oh no.
You like how quick that was?
I'm trying to think of any Jackson 5 song that would be appropriate for this situation, but I got nothing.
I genuinely don't know which ones were like Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5. I don't know that much about Michael Jackson.
Easy as toppling trees.
There we go.
Yeah.
It's you and me, the trees. It's you and the trees. You, me, and the trees. Sorry. Anyway, you're better at this. Clearly.
I'm tapped out, my man. So, yes, the Jackson brothers and their staff have had their own dealings with Lydia. Robert told of servers who, late at night, set up tables for banquets the next day, left the place, and returned the next morning to find every place setting very much out of place.
Yeah.
Would you care to guess how out of place this stuff was?
Millimeters.
You know what? Some would claim that millimeters is a ghost. However, the silverware was neatly stacked in the middle of the table.
Ooh.
The napkins were unfolded and piled high. Every table they set was unset by, they truly believed, Lydia Powell's mischievous ghost.
Well, that's basically a ghost saying fuck you.
Is it? Or is it some people who late at night decided not to do all of their job and blame it on a ghost the next day? I don't think you can unfold a napkin, my man. Like, the creases are still there. I think they didn't fold them at all.
I was actually about to ask that because, the napkin was going to be the main culprit for me. Because, a pile of napkins, evenly placed together it's a tough one to replicate. And I feel like the ghost would probably put it into more of a scrunched up pile of napkins as opposed to, evenly placed on top of each other.
Yeah, right? It's machines that made those napkins all straight and perfect.
Could you imagine even, for a second, to have the gall to do that? I mean, could you, imagine, walking in, let's say you're a staff member, and it was your responsibility to set out the table, and you've just, dumped the cutlery in the middle of the table and put the napkins down, haven't finished your job, and then to, walk in the next day, and they're like, the tables aren't set, and you're just feeling I did it! It was Lydia!
Yeah.
I just couldn't imagine for a second being able to pull off. I mean, I'm not good at lying at the best of times, but I can imagine the gall it would take to do that.
Look, Ollie, I know that you or I could never do that, but I've known some people.
Okay.
And you've worked in the hospitality industry before, right?
Yeah.
Are you telling me that you haven't ever encountered someone who, given the opportunity, would try and get away with that?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
It's starting to sound like you're lying and that you were that guy.
Definitely was not. As I said before, I could never have done that. I've definitely met people that maybe could have done that. I'm not sure if in hospitality necessarily, though. Most of the people that I've worked in hospitality have been generally pretty regular. Yeah,
the kind of person who tries to get away with this stuff doesn't last long, do they?
No, I think I accidentally, I didn't do it, obviously.
Oh,
I accidentally contributed to somebody getting sacked once.
What?
But it wasn't I did it. I mean, they definitely did the thing, but it was they were drinking on their shift. But so one of the things you can do in hospitality, something they often let you do, is retrospectively, I can't believe this happened, but sometimes they'll let you have a drink of fizzy drink or something, and they'll let you put it to the side, and then if you're walking past and no one's looking, you can pick up your fizzy drink and you can take a sip.
Sure.
Or it could be water. To stay hydrated, I don't drink water, but because we're in a restaurant and everyone's having fun drinks, I'd put a little bit of fresh lemon juice into it.
I thought you were going to say you put a little something else in there.
So this is what the other person did.
Oh, no.
So they were making themselves a little rum and cokes and putting them in that spot, and they were going back.
Oh, no.
On their shift, and they were drinking on the job. Which one of the things that is funny about it is that you can actually see it, because
they're getting drunker and drunker throughout their shift, and their breath smells like booze.
Well, not just that, but usually when you have like a mix like a rum and coke or like some sort of spirit and coke, you actually put like a little bit of fizziness on the top. You know, you'll notice there's like a little bit of white frothy kind of stuff on the top. So if you just pour out like a straight coke and then you pour out like a coke with bourbon, you actually see there's like a little bit more extra froth on the top.
Because the chemical composition is different, right? It bubbles up a bit more.
That's right, exactly. So you can kind of see the reaction. And my manager actually like came over to me and was just kind of like, what is that? I'm like, I don't know. You know. And like I knew.
But you're not a snitch.
And they actually like, oh, you know, can you take a quick sip of that? And like, that's where retrospectively I probably should have refused, but I was like 19.
Hang on. Your boss asked you to take a drink of a random drink.
Yeah, well, retrospectively, now I tell the story out loud, I guess that was probably not something I should have just followed. Oh. But, you know, I was like 19 and, you know, impressionable. I don't know what. Yeah,
all right. Look, you didn't do anything wrong here. I'm not blaming 19-year-old Ollie for this.
So the restaurant turns around to me and is just like, oh, you know, like, what's in that? And I'm like, oh, well, that's like a rum and coke. And they're like, okay, cool. And then they sacked the other person at the end of the shift. But, I mean, you could have just smelt it as well. Like, you could have easily just, like, picked that up, drink drop, and just, like, smelt it and be like, oh, well, that's obviously rum and coke. I don't know what the restaurant owner was necessarily trying to prove by getting me to take a sip.
No, that is odd. Maybe he knew it was rum and coke, but didn't know whose it was. And he knew that if he asked someone and they lied, then it's obviously theirs.
Bear in mind, this is a memory I'm dragging up from, like, over 20 years ago as well.
Oh, right, so it didn't happen, just like all of his ghost stories.
Pretty sure it did happen to some extent.
Of the several stories reported by patrons who knew nothing of Lydia's alleged spirit there, one stands out as particularly interesting. A gentleman had been using the upstairs men's room, and as he prepared to return to his table, he had a most unnerving experience. As he stood at the sink washing his hands, he happened to look into the mirror. Oh. He then said Bloody Mary 3 times. No, I'm shitting you.
I was right there with you. I was right. I didn't even pick up on it. I was about to be like, cool.
No, so he is looking into the mirror. That much is true. He was riveted in place as to his shock he saw, quite clearly in the reflection, a woman in Victorian dress standing just over his shoulders.
I bet you he did say Bloody Mary 3 times.
Yeah. Victorian lady, Victorian lady, Victorian lady. Also, standing just over his shoulders? Like, is she, like, 1 foot on each shoulder? Or is she, like, tiny, like a tiny angel, tiny devil situation?
Wait, I think he just meant, like, in the distance over his shoulder, right?
Over his... fit over his shoulder, I would believe that's what he meant, but it's over his shoulders, plural.
Okay. Well, I mean, maybe just like a bit of both of like standing behind him, like a bit of like maybe he just saw shoulders. Maybe he saw shoulders over his shoulders.
It's shoulders all the way down.
Look.
That one got you, didn't it?
Angel character. I mean, like, if it was shoulders, it'd have to be 2 anyway, right? Because, like, if it's the plural, it's like an angel and a demon version of a Victorian lady, like 2 Victorian ladies. Because there wasn't so I'm very confusing because there wasn't a plural in ladies, so it couldn't be that. So you're right, surely standing on his shoulders. So it must have been... Yeah. Must have been shoes. He saw shoes.
All right, done. All right, so we're agreed on that particular image.
the only way that could be true given the English structure of the sentence is that
yes, that the desperate crying out for an editor has left us with this particular image, which I am loving. It shook him. Sorry.
Shook it. No, I was just going to say, I'd love it if it was a bit more descriptive in terms of like what she was wearing, what the expression was on her face.
You know, well, we're not quite finished yet.
Devils in the details.
It shook him. But in a second or so, he realised it had to have been a painting, or, by some weird chance, a costumed woman who accidentally wandered into the men's room.
Did I ever tell you?
Reasonable assumptions.
Did I ever tell you, when I went to San Francisco, I got to a hotel in San Francisco. I got in, I had very little sleep. I was incredibly tired. I go up to the desk and they're like, we don't have your room ready. But they're like, oh, if you want, you can go into like the bathroom and freshen up and change your clothes and we'll take your bags for you. I'm like, okay, that sounds
reasonable.
That sounds like a plan. So I went into the first bathroom that I saw, which I thought was like a shared bathroom. I literally thought it was like a
unisex.
Unisex bathroom. Yeah. So I walked in, I think I was like waiting in one of the cubicles, and then a couple of women like walked out of a couple of cubicles. They laughed at me a bit, washed their hands, didn't say anything to me, and kind of left. So I walked into like the bigger of the cubicles. So I got changed, I freshened up with what I could do in the bathroom, got out of there, checked in my bags. Then after like a good, 8 hours of sleep, and I was like walking through the hotel again, I realized that it wasn't a unisex bathroom, that was in fact the women's bathroom.
Uh-huh.
There was a male bathroom a couple of doors down. And the funny thing is, they never even said anything to me.
No.
So I just like, and I remember telling my wife that story, and she's like, oh, I guess they were just very liberal.
I was going to say, look, this is San Fran, which is, it's getting stranger, but I think you'd probably be fine.
I think there's somebody, if you walked into the women's bathroom here, like at a hotel, like I think someone would mention something to you. Like I would expect them to, like, be like, hey.
Look, man, a shit
maybe
is a
not,
shit.
I don't know. Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, I just thought it was funny at the time. Anyways.
Would you say that you were shaken? Shooketh, yeah, okay.
Shooketh by these... shooketh by the realization, not at the time, but like it shooketh by the realization afterwards, because like, after I realized what had happened, I was like, oh.
Oh no, I was the bad guy.
Exactly, right? You're like, oh, I did the wrong thing. But I didn't know. Obviously, I wouldn't have done that if I did. But I definitely did not know.
Well, if your experience shook you, this experience sure shook this gentleman. In an instant, he turned and looked over his shoulder. The room was empty. There was no painting on the wall and no costumed woman. He returned to his table to tell his companions and his waiter of his strange, frightening encounter in the men's room. He dismissed it all as the workings of his imagination. He was forced to rethink that and reassess the entire matter after he learned for the first time about the restless ghost of Lydia Powell, who may have come to call on that man in that room on that night on Hurricane Hill. The end.
Worry.
I love that it ends on the implication that the ghost is trying to perv in the men's room. She's got to be my MVP at the very least.
Definitely. I knew that from the start of the story. Like, I thought Lydia for the win. Like, absolutely.
They named a room after her, right?
Yeah. She was always going to be my MVP. And surprisingly, if you don't mind me saying my word of the story.
No, go for it.
You might think of it as a bit of an outlier. But it was Pennsylvania.
Oh, Pennsylvania itself.
Yes, because I learnt the fun fact about why it's called Pennsylvania. So it became the word of the day because I learnt that it was named after someone that bought up all land and their last name was Penn.
Yeah. In fact, give me 1 second, I'll get you the actual guy's name.
I'm going to guess Lewis.
Lewis, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
It's William Penn. There you go.
I feel like there was only a limited amount of names at the time. I feel like I could have guessed that eventually.
Yeah. It's going to be John or William, let's be honest.
Yeah.
He was a Quaker, very religious folk.
He had 10 kids. 3 of them were called William.
He's got Bill, Will, Willie, William. Like, you get 4 names out of that one name. That's economy. Well, we know my MVP is going to be Lydia, but my word award, don't get me wrong, I really like the inclusion of the word maelstrom.
Ooh, maelstrom. I love maelstrom.
But I think I'm going to go with the concept of sentinel trees.
Ooh, sentinel trees. Love that.
If only because it led to the idea of trees breaking wind. And there's nothing that I like more than a dirty gutter joke.
Well, I feel like we've given Maelstrom an honourable mention.
Yeah, there you go. That can be the honourable mention, just to bring the tone up a little bit.
I'm glad that wasn't a person. I've always thought like that was such a... Like if you've got like an honourable mention, like as an award, like
I still think I'd be chuffed if someone were to give me an honourable mention for something.
Well, maybe that's some other psychological issues that I'm dealing with then.
Yeah, this is coming
Honourable
from...
mention?
This is...
Not the win? Fuck off! You know what? I want to be here.
I'm just happy to be here. Oh, shucks.
Fuck you. Fuck the event. Where's the door?
Alright, well, look, Ollie, let me show you to the door. It's this way. Ah, surprise! This door actually takes you to next fortnight's episode of Second-Hand Haunting. This week's stories from Ghost Stories of Chester County and the Brandywine Valley by Charles J. Adams III. Episode edited by Callum Patrick for the Peas in a Podcast Network. If you like the show, tell a friend.